What's going on, guys? It's EP from the Coaches Ball, and welcome to the Coaches Talk number 7. All right, I got a couple coaches here, excluding Mickey and Terrence, who have previous things going on. Okay, so I have Marcus, I have Leo, and I have Dustin here. Okay, we're gonna talk about 2 topics today. Okay, we kind of came up with it out of thin air. So we're gonna be talking about redoing powerlifting. Okay, our 3 main movements that we would like to see in our version of powerlifting. I got this one from Joe DeFranco. He talked about it, so I won't be copying his, but I mean, it's a good question, so why not talk about it? Okay. And after that, this one comes from Leo. He wants us to build our ultimate gym. So we're gonna talk about the equipment that we're gonna have, the space, and the specifics of the entire system that we want to create. I mean, if you guys have I've thought about this a lot, so I mean, I'm gonna probably go in depth into that one, but that's just me. Okay, but why don't we go ahead and start going right into it? So we're going to be talking about redoing powerlifting. What 3 main movements would you guys like to see in powerlifting, and why? It can be any movements that you want to do, but let's go ahead and go right into it. Why don't we start off with Marcus?
Oh man, that's kind of rough because I'm a bodybuilder, so for me, everything's a little bit different. And I look at things a little bit differently than most powerlifters, but I will go leg press. I feel like that is still a great movement for a lot of leg dominant exercises. So it'll replace your squat. I would definitely do an incline bench with either a barbell or dumbbells. Preferably, I would go with dumbbells because protect the joints as best as possible. And the last movement, that's a hard one because personally, my favorite thing to do when I'm lifting and for any type of back exercise is always barbell rows, and I love to do barbell rows. So I wouldn't mind seeing that in the powerlifting competition to see how heavy can somebody row some weight. So those would probably be my 3 movements that I will replace from your squat, deadlift, and your bench press, your regular standardized bench press. So it'll be those 3 movements.
Okay. All right. I'll go next so I don't copy anybody else because apparently I. Okay. So, all right. So I want to go. So I would keep it squat, deadlift, and bench, but I would change the modalities of it, just like the different. I would probably change the bars. So for squat, I would either go safety bar squat or I would go front squat, and I would just change that completely from like the back squat. I think even though both of them are more quad dominant, and I do prefer both of those, I think it's a risk versus reward kind of situation with training. I mean, holding a barbell, people forget how much pressure that actually puts on your shoulder to internally rotate, externally rotate, and stuff like that, and how beat up people's wrists, elbows, and stuff get and their shoulders. Especially, I'm a big believer that you can cheat the shit out of a back squat, but you can't cheat the shit out of a front squat. So I mean, once that you dip forward, you're done. So I think a front squat will probably be my main squat movement. And then if people actually want some weight on their back, I love the safety bar, just holding it and just ripping it up and down. Plus, it's a different kind of cambered bar, so it feels different too, and it feels it's just great. I love those 2. My next one for bench, I would probably go a football bar, variation, and maybe each. So that's the one where you handles here kind of thing.
Is that that's what you call it? A football bar?
The Swiss bar or football
Swiss
bar?
Yeah, Swiss bar. No, I'm like,
I mean, if you I'm not wrong, right? I'm not wrong, but it's also called a football bar. I don't know, because you also gotta think people football players hold it this way. Okay,
if you say so.
All right, whatever, bro. It's my I say what I want. Okay, anyway. So I will go football or Swiss bar. Okay. Incline bench press. I just like incline, so I love incline. It's something that I'm preferably good at, but I also love the variations that you can do with that Swiss bar. So maybe one if we ever have powerlifting, maybe one powerlifting meet would be this direction, one powerlifting meet would be neutral grip, and like trying to get a strength ratio off of that, or if neutral grip wide. You get me? I think that'll kind of give like a different, you know, what I mean, like a different level, like the same thing with like a back squat or whatever like that. Like you'll have a high bar back squat guy and a low bar back squat guy. You'll have a guy who changes their hand grips, stuff like that. I think that'd be kind of cool to see. And then my deadlift, I mean, tried and true will always be trap bar deadlift. I think that's fucking great. I think you can add the weight on that. It takes a little bit of the pressure off of like your lower back and stuff like that. And it's kind of both. Obviously, it's both a squat and a deadlift in kind of some kind of proportion. But I just love that movement and just every way, shape, and form. But I think for overall strength in general, if I was to not take out one thing in powerlifting, I wouldn't take out the deadlift. And I think that's probably like the one movement that should, if it ever changes, should always be there. I mean, I just don't see a reason why not. I think that's the one true test of strength, full body strength, that and the squat. But I think the deadlift just has a better feel to it in general. So if I didn't have to change one thing, I wouldn't be the squat, but I mean the deadlift. But if it was, I would change it to trap bar deadlift.
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that.
Okay. Why don't we go? Because I know Leo is itching, but I wanna go ahead and go ask Dustin because you're itching for it. So I'm gonna ask Dustin.
All right. You know, thinking about it, squat, bench, deadlift, I think it's great. I wouldn't really want to change it up too much. I like how you changed up the modalities and everything to make it a little bit safer for everybody. So for the deadlift, I'm gonna steal it and say trap bar deadlift if you take away the straight bar deadlift. For bench press, I like bench press, but I think it'd be really, really cool to see, would it be safer? Hell no, probably not. But I want to see a strict overhead press. I mean, you see these guys putting this insane weight over their head. I forgot his name from LSU. But his strict press, it was like he strict pressed like over 400 something, and it was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be really, really cool to see how much weight people could put over their head. And then last one, squat. I don't know. I kind of like back squat. I'd stick with it. If I had to change it up, I like the safety bar. I like the front squat just because front squat is so much more, not taxing, but takes so much more of that abdominal core strength and all that stuff too. So yeah. I feel like front squat would be a good one.
I don't even think anybody would get over like a 900 like pounds on the front squat. It'll be almost.
You say that and watch.
But then when someone does, you're gonna be like, oh shit.
100%. I can't wait for that day, but that's gonna be such a hard way to hold the bar. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Like, would you force people to do it this way or force people to do it that way?
I think you have to do it wherever you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some of these powerlifters, these big boys, I don't think they can get their arms up like that.
Go zombie.
Or they have to use
Just go zombie.
Hold it. You ever seen like actually like use a wrist wrap strap?
Yeah, I got my bodybuilder friends who use the wrist wrap straps like this.
Wrist wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was gonna say, I think for the trap bar, because like all these trap bars have different levels to them, especially like the ones at LSU, like those
Oh yeah. The bar's like sitting at my knee. I'm doing a rack pull.
That shit's like up above my knee. Like I'm literally doing box deadlifts on it. But I think if I'm gonna go back and just change it just a smidge. I think I would go like low end trap bar deadlift. Like you get me, like the one like just the low end, that same level of a deadlift.
Yeah,
yeah. Here. Okay. If I was gonna be more specific, but I know Leo, you're itching, so why don't you go ahead and answer?
All right. So I think I like Dustin's point of pressing overhead, but I wouldn't make it a strict press. So instead of bench, I would use the Swiss bar. And the way I differentiate the Swiss bar and football bar is the Swiss bar actually comes as like straight, and then it goes out like this, and then comes straight like this. So push press it that way. That way your head can clear in between the angles of the bar. So push press for that for bench. And then for squat, I would just change the modality and go to a cambered bar. So cambered bar, if you don't know, comes out straight this way. then drops down, then has the weight this way.
Yeah.
The way you can hold that, you can sit that, I say comfortably, you can sit that comfortably on your shoulders and actually have your hands at different heights of the sidebars. So it definitely helps a lot of people with shoulder injuries. Like I know during my powerlifting blocks, anytime my shoulders hurt for whatever reason, I'll switch to that, or I'll switch to the safety squat bar. But the camber bar I like a lot is because you can, it's 75 pounds to start off with. And you can really load that bar up, and the way it pendulums down actually forces you to shoot your hips even further back, which is going to get a lot more people to activate the backside of their body, which would then cause more power. And then for deadlift, I would steal a page out of how strongmen do it, and I would go the elephant bar. So for people who don't know the elephant bar, it is a really, really long deadlift bar, and it has a lot of give to it at the ends. So technically when you're pulling it, you're not pulling, let's just say you're not pulling 2 or 3 inches as high as you normally would with a straight bar, which once you get to your upper, like 95, 100% of your max, whatever, those 2 or 3 extra inches could be the difference between getting a lift, getting 3 lights, or getting 3 red lights, getting 3 red lights. And I also allow straps for it. Because if we're doing powerlifting, then I definitely want to see like a max amount of weight someone can pull. That's why I like strongman competitions when they do the deadlifts, because they give them the best bar to do it on. They let them use the straps. And that's how you see people freaking pulling 1,100 pounds and shit.
Yeah. They also let them like kind of like go back down if they need to, like not all the way back down, but they kind of let.
Oh yeah, they're allowed to hitch. Yeah, I don't know if I would. Yeah, I just let the hitch go. Yeah, you just
like it's just like a preference, like powerlifters. Like I just don't like to hitch because like I know like it just mentally. But I mean, you can hitch and still finish it. You know what I mean? That's the point.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I think shoot, if we already got straps in the elephant bar, you might as well hitch. So we're really seeing like how much weight can you pull from the ground.
Exactly.
As much power as possible right there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's great. So Joe DeFranco, so if I remember correctly, he kind of said the same thing. So he said trap bar deadlift, camber, the same camber bar. I think I haven't used it before. I don't know if you guys have. Have you ever used a Duffalo bar? The actual like.
Yes.
Yeah.
He talked to
squatting with
me how that feels, because I feel like I heard it's like the best thing in the world.
It feels really good on bench. Like I love benching with it because it gets that extra like inch. I think it's an inch on each side, goes lower than your chest. Yeah. But for me, for my shoulders, it's supposed to help your shoulders, but it makes mine feel worse personally.
It doesn't feel bad at all. It's a nice bar to use. But I would definitely go with the Buffalo bar as like my main. If it's not the straight bar, Buffalo all the way.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I think those are all great answers. Everybody has their own opinion with that. I think those are great answers, though. So why don't we go into depth into the ultimate gym? Because I think that can kind of be a little bit more fun than picking these kind of things for sure. Okay. So let's pick our ultimate gym. Okay. Let's go over the equipment. Okay. Let's go over the space. Let's also go over where would the location, like maybe like your favorite location where you would love to have it. And like other specifics in general. I think that's a great topic. Like where would you go with all that stuff? Okay. I'm gonna let you guys choose who wants to go first this time. Okay, because I know it's a lot to think about. And we can always go retract and go back and have a conversation about this because I know a lot of ideas are gonna pop up as we're talking.
Let's go, Dustin.
Well, off the top of my head, I don't know where I would want it, like location-wise, because I mean I've been stuck here my entire life, so I mean I want to go out adventure. But if I had to pick somewhere, I'd live in Colorado, hands down. So I'd go somewhere out in Colorado. That's where my location would be. As far as space-wise, I really, really like the facility that I worked at back down in Slidell at home. It was basically just giant warehouse. We had enough space to put 50 yards worth of turf. And then the other half, one half was turf. It was about 50 yards by 20 to 30-ish yards. And then the other half was all weights areas. But I'd set up the weight area a little bit different than back home. I'd have Olympic weightlifting platforms. I'd have at least 3 or 4 of those. And then for on the field, I'd want a bunch of sleds, a bunch of med balls, battle ropes, all the fun stuff. Because if you know me, you know I'm all over the place and working out with Coach Chris and Coach G. In the weight room, we started doing some seal fit, and that stuff is intense and all over the place, but it's a lot of fun. And then, of course, you can do a lot with those things. If you have somebody that can't necessarily squat, the sleds would be a great alternative for it. And then the battle ropes is another form of conditioning if somebody can't run and all kinds of stuff like that. And then also on the weight side, other than the Olympic weightlifting platforms, I'd want some racks, of course, some full racks, maybe like four to six of those. And yeah, that kind of be my setup.
I like it.
I like
Not
it.
bad at all.
Who's next?
Personally, for me, the ultimate gym will also include like the ultimate type of like trainers, coaches, all in one at the same time. I will have, a 50-yard field for football, 50-yard field for for soccer, half a court for basketball, a place for like batting cages for baseball, and have all coaches specifically for that sport, so that way it's like, okay, you have a kid that wants to come in and they want to play a sport, okay, you go see that coach. The weight room will be big enough so that it can hold multiple people, multiple teams in them at the same time if we needed to. Definitely will rock with a lot of different squat racks, benches. I'm getting kettlebells. It's gonna be some Star Wars kettlebells. Gotta get the Death Star, Darth Vader up in there. Gotta represent. I'm a pure nerd, so I love all stuff like that. But definitely going with a lot of sleds, a lot of battle ropes. Same thing like Dustin said, because you are very versatile. You can do that for anything. You know what I mean? You can pull it, push it, work different areas of the lower body. Battle ropes work up the body, but primarily the staff has to be just as good as the facility that you get in. So if I'm going to get a big facility that personally I would love to have in the sun, because that. So anywhere like the California, Miami locations would probably be like my main two places, because you get a lot of people wanting to look good in those locations, just because of the fact that it's hot out, so everybody looking to come train, especially like celebrities. It'll be like a nice open ceiling, so that way a retractable ceiling, so that way you have the sun hitting it. Yeah, we're going all out. Yeah.
You just built a college campus.
You
Like
need an island.
Oregon. Yeah.
That is a fucking island. Like, I want the entire island to have every single sport in the fucking world under one roof. Like, you need Jeffrey Epstein's fucking island. That's what you need.
But hey, if we're gonna go big, go big. You know what I mean? And that's the point about it. Is that
Gym. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not.
Yeah, but you want that gym so that people come to it. You know what I mean? Not just your everyday civilians, but you want the celebrities, you want the athletes to come like during the off season, because that's what's gonna really generate the money. Is like, okay, you have football players in the off season, they're coming to your facility to train because you have the top coaches, the top trainers there. So that's what I want. So that way, if we're gonna build a facility, I'm gonna go all out.
Okay.
And
I ain't mad
who's
at
funding this facility? Who's funding your facility? Where are you getting this startup?
It's
Yeah,
gonna
what are
be
you getting for the
Elon, it's gonna be
retractable roof?
Elon Musk,
facility.
Jeff Epstein's kids and wife.
Have you seen Filthy Rich?
Not yet.
Oh yeah,
That shit fucked me up. I was like, oh, that shit was crazy. You have to watch it. But like, I'm not one of those that watched the news, so I knew who Jeffrey Epstein was, but I honestly did not know what he did other than he died, like, randomly.
right.
Yeah, I don't watch it that much. Like, I just now on Twitter paying attention to that. So I didn't know any of the stuff that he actually physically did, like the ring of
Oh, it's vile.
like, this shit's crazy.
Yeah.
They go into depth of like the women who were abused and how the cops just let him slide and stuff. It's crazy, bro.
That's crazy. But you know what? If Elon Musk can give me the profits to run this gym, he can name my child A13 if he wants.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You know what that just sounds like? That your gym's gonna be in space also. You're gonna need to take a rocket ship every day to go.
Well, you know what? With the way that everything's going right now, might as well.
It's not bad.
Might as well. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hit some Pirate Queens on the moon. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, for real.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I can top that ultimate gym, but a more realistic gym, which was badass, would be the area would probably be like really like downtown Houston or downtown Dallas. Two reasons of the taxes in Texas are just like screaming for you to be good, and especially in everyone in these two cities of Texas wants to look good. Also have two of the biggest sports areas with some of the biggest sports stars from multiple sports like football, basketball, hockey, soccer, all that from both those cities. And my gym would be similar to what Dustin said. It'd just be one giant warehouse, like a plane hangar basically, and it would have like 30 yards of turf. It'd have a half court of basketball. It'd have 2 batting cages. I'd have all the sleds, the prowers, the kettlebells, the ski ergs, the rowers. Obviously have like 5 platforms, 5 Olympic platforms, and then 5 racks with the benches. All the bars would be the Elocott. I can't even say the word. Low key bars, the ones that cost like $1,500.
Lico bars.
Lico, yeah.
Did I say it right? Lico, there you go. Can't say that Swedish word. All those bars would be that. All of our weights would be some type of superhero character. And then it would just have the best lighting in the world. So like no matter what angle you walk around, like you'd always look more jacked. And then in the back side of it, you definitely have a red light sauna, a wet sauna, a dry sauna, and then a hot tub, ice baths. With how much has gone out about ice, I really wouldn't want to put one in there because more and more research comes out that ice like really doesn't do too much for you besides pain management. It actually hinders your recovery process. So I'd leave that out, and then definitely have like 2 or 3 tables for an in-house chiropractor / PT to help out as well.
Yeah.
And like 12 TVs just randomly thrown in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With no news though. No CNN, no Fox, no nothing like that.
It has to only be sports.
Sports.
That's the only channel.
strictly
Like,
sports.
oh, can you change it? No, there's literally one button on the remote, and it just
It's
says.
sports and Generation Iron. That's it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Just on repeat. That's all.
Mhm.
That is it right there. And for sure, what Marcus said, you got to have coaches to match the facility. Like,
Yeah.
a coach makes the facility no matter what.
Exactly.
100%. Okay, so I guess it's my turn. So I think my ultimate gym, I'm gonna go with these guys. It will be a warehouse. I just like the feel of it. I want 6 racks. Okay? I want them all to be Olympic lifting racks. Okay, I want a majority of it being rogue. I just like the different colored stuff of like the rogue system. Actually, no, I don't want rogue. I want sore necks. That's what I want. I want all sore neck stuff. I love everything Sornex does, like their hammers, all that stuff for implement sports. You can put everything on it. So all the racks would be Sornex. I would also have like them do the whole gym, to be 100% honest, because I love their whole mindset with all that stuff. I want enough room to have at least 50 yards of turf. Okay, I want that turf motherfucking black with like red stripes on it. I just love with my logo on it. Kettlebell.
Little midget on there.
What?
A little black. The logo be like a little midget on there.
Yeah. It's like no, it's an egg. It's like an egg with like hands.
With just the
And a mustache.
Like this. Yeah, I would have the turf. I obviously need my sleds. I obviously need my prowlers. Sandbags. Kettlebells, like all different weights and stuff like that. What else do I want? Okay, I don't want like a huge facility. I like keeping it small in the family. I like it private. I like it secure. So I think for me, it would either be, it would be here in Dallas. I would agree with Leo with downtown Houston, just the amount of athletes and the amount of prime like people actually want to get better. But I like Austin, and I also like Orlando. So if I had to pick, I would pick those 4 places. So here, Houston, Orlando, Austin. I just love the feel of Austin. I think it's fucking great. Like it would be one of those things. I just have to compete with on it, but fuck it.
I was about to say honest down there, huh?
Yeah, that's the only thing I will have to compete with. But But yeah, I would have all that stuff. I also want an outdoor, like maybe like 100 yards football field, and then we can kind of mess with it. I don't want it actually a football field, but I wanted to use it for recreation and stuff like that. People want to use it. Hot tub. I'll go hot tub, cold tub. That's more. Can you shut the fuck up, Alexa? God.
Yeah, we on a video. Oh my god.
This is 2020.
There's kids watching this. There's
Yeah.
kids watching this, Evan.
No kids are watching this. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Anyway.
You got girls in the room. What's wrong with you? Be professional. Be
It's literally
professional.
my Alexa. It's my Alexa. Okay.
She has feelings.
She doesn't. All right. Anyway, okay. So I would go hot tub, cold tub. I agree with Leo with the cold tub thing, but I think that's more for mentally. Like athletes just like it. I mean, even though you can go ahead and talk to them like endlessly about how it's not helpful. Oh, it's helpful. I'm just gonna go in there and then contrast. I also do want I want to make it a one-stop shop, even though it's just a warehouse. So I want offices, and then I want a communal office. Let me talk. Just those two things. Offices. So I want a nutritionist on site. I want chiropractor on site. I want some form of athletic trainer on site to help out with like if we have large groups and stuff like that. And I want only three or four other coaches. And the way I kind of want to run it is I do want to have sections of open gym, and I also want to have sections of classes for general population athletes and stuff like that. And then I want to, for me, the most important thing, like Marcus said, was having the right staff. God,
I just got that alert.
the Waco alert, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But the staff is important, but also the culture is. So I want to breed a culture of not only the coaches elevating the athletes or the clientele or that, but everybody elevating each other and making it like a family. I think that's why I'm not a big CrossFitter, but I think the thing that CrossFit does better than everybody else is build a community. They do it better than anybody else. And that's why CrossFit's so big, because of that family. If you can find a way to build that with strength and conditioning, you know what I mean? Like, we'll be unstoppable also. I mean, but it's also because we're not sport that makes it kind of like that. But I want to build that family and that community within my own gym. No TVs, okay? Because we don't got time for that shit. That's not what we're about. So maybe like one TV in my office, because that's what I'm about, with like a PlayStation. Yeah, I think that's my ultimate gym. So like, I want it small, but like I want it like in the warehouse feel. I want it to welcome everybody, but I want to also kind of like the talk that we had with Michelle the other day. I want to let people know that this isn't for everybody, but when you're ready to come to my spot, be ready with the mindset that you are gonna get better, and the only thing that's stopping you is you, because we're all here for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to build that kind of sense. So for me, that community and that culture is the most important part. That's the ultimate gym. You know what I mean?
Gotcha, that makes sense.
That's me.
I like
yeah,
it.
that's it, really.
I have a question for either Evan or Dustin to take this one first of all, because you guys train athletes more than me and Leo does. So with the new study, that came out saying that the hands on the thigh when tired is not it's a better sign for recovery. How do you feel about that? It's like it doesn't hinder your recovery. What do you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit. I mean, yeah, they can argue that the studies, that's how they should recover in that position and everything. But at the same time, if I'm working with athletes that are competing against other athletes and showing that they're better, that they're going to win, just like Coach G says, is that a position you want the other team to see you in? Like, do you want the other team to see you bent over for them to just walk up behind you and just, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it, but yeah. So, I mean, ideally, is it a better position to recover? Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to see bent over like you don't want them to see you bent over like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about a sense of I mean, at that point, it becomes a sense of pride and a mentality more than anything. I mean, like a lot of the stuff, like you really gotta think about it. Like when you, a lot of movements in general, like what that we do in the gym. Like, I mean, do we really have to back squat as much as we do? Do we really have to do all these lifts and get strong? I mean, a lot of it is just ego and the mentality. Like, I want to get strong, so I want to get better. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, that shows weakness. You put your hands on your hips, shows weakness. You already lost. I mean, but like this right over here, you know what I mean? It's just like you can be thinking about shit. You know what I mean? But like, it's also the same thing. Like, if you ever see somebody who's nervous and shy, the first thing you'll notice is that they'll do this, kind of nervous and shy. Themselves. That's the same thing as putting your hands on your hips. I mean, you're trying to, even though you're able to breathe more, you're trying to comfort yourself because you're in pain. I mean, this right here is like, I'm ready. My arms are open. I'm ready for you. So it's all about position and body language. Body language is very important. People forget, like you can tell a lot by how people like just stand, just walk. Like, oh, he's nervous. He's a little shy. I mean, shit like that. So I think that's important. But yeah, I mean,
I feel like hands on the hips looks like you're more ready than like this. Like when I see someone do this, like, oh, you tired? Like I know you're tired.
Is it hands on your hips or is it hands on your thighs?
Hands on your hips and hands on your
Hands on
Oh,
your thigh. Hands over your thigh.
on your thigh, like
Is
classic
it over
tripod.
is it over thighs or hands on your hips? Marcus, what is it?
So it's like the running back stance. When you have your hands on your thigh, hands on your knees, when you bend over, that's the position that they're saying is the most effective.
No. So if your hands on your hip is the same thing as this. That's the same thing as this. But
Okay,
if your hands on your
see, that's what I'm getting. That you're saying like hands on the hips. Like if I see someone with hands on their hips, like they're ready.
I'm ready to fucking go. I'm ready to go. If my hands are on my hips, I'm ready to fuck.
I still know you're tired. Like you don't have the same off-season conditioning. Like if I see you doing this in a game or something, like bro, you're tired. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Kind of mean the same thing.
Hands on the hips, like you could be dead exhausted, but you're standing up straight. You got your shoulders back. Like you might be passed out in your helmet, but I can't tell. Like you look ready for war.
Yeah, exactly. And all that's just language. That speaks, bro. That speaks more than fucking words sometimes, bro. I'm ready for you right here. This does mean you're tired no matter what, but I mean.
Y'all played sports, like we know for a fact our coaches just yell at us to not show weakness. So therefore, when you see someone doing that, it's like, bro, you're tired. Like so, it defeats the purpose. I get what they're saying. You want to stand up tall and not show weakness, but also at the same time, like we all know what this means.
Yeah, I think this, what they failed to realize with the study is that, like, yeah, it may be great for recovery, but yeah, it's showing sign of weakness to other team or to other players, and it's something that, as all athletes here, when as we grew up, all of our coaches tell us don't do it, and it's like, why? Because you're showing the other team that you're tired, and I think it's like instilling that. Okay, can't be tired, can't show that I'm weak, can't show that I'm tired to the other team. And I think it's like a sense of pride now. It's like you could be like almost on your deathbed, and as soon as you put your hand on your thigh, it's like the other team is like, oh, you're done. So I think it's like, the studies, they don't realize that, like, they don't put in the emotional factor for some of the studies that they come out with, because it's like it's more emotional than it is about recovery. You know what I mean? So
I mean, that's the point of science, to take emotion out of it. I mean, if you talk about psychology, it's different. Yeah. I mean, psychologists will probably tell you exactly what we're saying. You know what I mean? It's just especially sports psychologists, they'll be like, yeah, like that's just a sense of power. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing as a dog. If a dog lays down or is panting, you know what I mean? Like, it's tired or whatever like that, or it's happy or something like that. It tells a lot. And you don't want you want to speak less when you're playing a sport, and speak more. You know what I mean? So if you're tired and stuff like that, it's a lot. You can tell. That's a whole game plan change too. You know what I mean?
You're going Optimus Prime right now.
I think, guys, we're gonna have to cut it for today. Evan Mike is starting to fail on us.
It's still doing it?
Yes, it's still doing it. So that is a sign from God saying that it is time for us to separate for the night, to wrap it up.
You have to. If I can't speak it, then somebody has to close.
We nominate Dustin for today. He's the former LSU.
Lead us to the promised land.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, guys. A like, a share, a follow, subscribe, all that stuff goes a long way. As Marcus said before, all of that goes towards EP's height. Thank you for listening, and yeah, we hope you enjoyed it.
Hey, Dustin, the new closer right there.
I can't hear you, Evan. I see you, but I can't hear you. But
See you guys later.
Have a good one.
Guys.
all right, see y'all later.